And welcome back to the hot stage via the hotline. We're talking WRC, and the homepage of WRC had quite an interesting article that I wanted to get into. It's about when the Brits ruled Safari Kenya. And it starts off with 5 out of 6 years, 5 out of 6 British drivers could do no wrong at the Safari Rally, and pretty much two people, yes, you probably already guessed it, Colin McRae and Richard Burns shared the crowns for that Safari Rally. 5 out of the 6 years. And it's something that I thought was really, really, well, for me, was quite interesting in relation to it. So let's get into it, shall we? But before we get into 1997, which was the first one, and the event was first run to celebrate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, and it took the lovely Great Britain here a long time to actually get a win. Now, Terry Harmon is kind of cheating in a way, though, but Terry Harmon was the first to do it. He was co-driving, I think it was Ari Vatanen to... apologies if I've got that wrong, but Ari Vatanen to the top step of the podium on that 1983 Safari in an Opel Ascona 400. And it would be another 14 years before a British driver managed that same feat. And guess who was the man? Well, I don't think you got to guess. I don't think you got to guess for very long. Drum roll, I've already kind of given it to you. Yes, it was this man, Colin McRae, the 1995 world champion. But it wasn't in 1995. But his speed, as we know, has never been in doubt. When in doubt, flat out. And the patience required for a Safari win was thought to be very un-Colin-like. Beyond him, I think the article even says. But as he did with a lot of things, he absolutely proved them wrong. He drove what's been described as pretty much a faultless event in 1997. However, there was a late scare. Apparently there was an alternator problem which left just enough charge in the car to make the service and finish. I mean, classic Colin, really. He's absolutely an amazing driver. But it was kind of like Nigel Mansell in F1. There was always drama around him, wasn't there? There's always something going on. So, well, who won it the next year? It wasn't Colin, no. It was a certain Richard Burns. So a year on, Burns broke his WRC duck with a win aboard the Mitsubishi, I think it's pronounced Charisma. Now, the Englishman was always in the lead fight and spent the latter part of the event. He was nursing his lead after his very fast teammate, a certain Tommy Mackinnon, dropped out. And I think the factory Subarus also dropped out. But well done, Richard Burns in the Mitsubishi. So, that was 1998. 1999, yes, you recognise that. It is a old Ford Focus, and McRae's second win was made famous as it was the first for the Ford Focus WRC. The M Sport engineered machine, it didn't miss a beat on the event, which the team had feared, and because they'd had very troubled outings in Monte Carlo and Sweden. And what I think is interesting about this, I think Colin McRae then went on to win another one in a row. I think he won Portugal. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because it's not in front of me. But yeah, I think he won the Safari Rally and Portugal. And at the time, was it 6 million over 2 years? He was, when he went to Ford, he was the highest paid rally star at the time. But that's 1999. In 2000, Richard Burns, being frustrated that he missed out, he bounced back. He got revenge on Colin. However, it wasn't straightforward. His Subaru refused to start up after one section. Hello, Cherry Nouvelle, Sweden, 2024. But it refused to start up after one section. But Burns solved the problem by pouring cold water on the temperature sensor. Yeah, literally pouring cold water on it. With the flat 4-fold into starting, he nursed it to service and then made it to that champagne finish. Now, pause though, because I said 5 out of the last 6, and it was 2001 that, well, we didn't win. The Brits didn't win, So Mackinnon won, the missing year for Britain. However, it was 2002. Yes, Colin McRae 2002 in what's been described as one of his best drives to win a third Safari Rally. He was hounded all the way through by a brilliant Harry Rovanpera in a Peugeot. McRae refused to be rattled, drove his car at his pace, his pace, a very mature McRae at this point, and his clinched a 5th British win in the 60s. I do believe it was his 25th, and I think it was his sadly, it was his last, I think, WRC win in the Ford Focus in 2002. Once again, correct me if I am wrong. But, I mean, there we go. What a fantastic line. Now, what could happen this year in Safari? Could Elvin Evans do it? I think potentially he could. We'll be doing our Safari preview, I think, within the next week. Hopefully I've got a guest on board. Fingers crossed. You know who you are. And he's basically the encyclopedia of rally as far as I'm concerned, because he schools me on everything. But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say other than the fact that I'm excited. I'm now rambling, so I'm going to stop. Like, subscribe if you want to see more rally news, etc. And stay tuned. We will speak to you soon.